about Ukraine, David? What about Ukraine and Russia? And is this? I brought it up here, and obviously we talked about it many times, and Jake has brought it up many times about the situation in Russia and Ukraine. I don't want to go through the whole thing again on that, but the recent issues where Ukraine says this is now World War III. There's no end in sight. They blocked all the peace plans. I doubt that Ukraine will go to the peace tables with Russia again. So number of troops killed on both sides, it's over 500,000 already, according to U.S. officials. On the conservative side, Zelensky keeps getting a lot of money. 24 more billion has been asked by the White House again, on top of the 113 committed over the past year. Are we ever going to see anything close to a peace deal, a truce, or anything like that?
The war has come to a stalemate. Ukraine is not able to make headway into removing Russia from their own, what they believe to be their own land.
Yes, you're right.
So they don't have enough firepower, enough men and forces to push them out. And Russia is just fighting a defensive war. Everybody is running out of ammunition, and everybody. And yeah. Russia is even having trouble with their ammunition keeping up. So they're hoping North Korea will come in and give them some ammunition. Yep. And even the threat, look, we're in a hot war. That's all there is to it right now. Right now, it's on a level there in Ukraine that it's men against men, but soon it could be missiles fired towards nations. It could very well happen. As Russia, I believe a man like Putin, if he thinks he's not going to win, if he thinks that he's going to die and his country's going to die, well, like history and Mr. Hitler, and then, of course, in the Bible, we see this type of mentality that the king of Syria talked about, that even though he was defeated, there was no way that they were going to win. They still thought they could win. They still think, and that's how the devil is. Even though he knows his defeat is coming, he still has self-deluded to believe that he can win. And it could very well be this type of possessed mentality that we've seen throughout history that types like Putin could be having. And so they won't care. And it could easily turn into a world war. But like it is basically a world war
already. Yeah.
Like we have Europe is funneling money, America's funneling money. Biden wants more money. He's asked for, I thought it was $113 million, which he's only spent half, but he wants 24 billion more. And where are the weapons going? When are they going to be delivered? Where is the money going? Is it just being shuffled around to some other place to make the other parts of the chaos work? It's very, there's no accountability for this money. There's none. It's just shove it over there. And now we, just like the COVID, all these billions upon billions and billions of dollars from all the nations through this money after COVID, they don't know where the hundreds of billions of dollars have disappeared to. The same thing is going on now with the war. And there's just, the world has gone mad. And where this is going to end, who knows? But I mean, I know as a Christian, we know where it's going to end. But rumors of wars, it's bound to happen, and it's going to get more intense. So,
I agree with you 100%, David, about good old Putin and his demonically possessed mindset of we can win.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem with this situation is it's not just Putin. Volodymyr Zelensky believes that he's going to get the Crimea back. He's going to get Donbass back, and he's going to be flying high, and just destroying the Russian bear. And what's worse is you have an insipid president that thinks that he can throw money at a problem and make it go away. at the same time, I'm sure that there's 10% of what he's throwing is going to the big guy.
I would not doubt it. Absolutely. There's not just one king of Assyria that's thinking it. You're right. It's many of these people think they can win. There seems to be some people in Europe that are starting to take a step back and say, hey, let's not do this. You're going to bring that up there, Marco?
Yeah. We'll get to Orban, but I think he makes a really, really good point. I did want to mention the craziness of Zelensky with the money. We brought it up here many, many times, and we're no fan of Zelensky. And I would venture to say he's equally or worse than the guys we mentioned, because everybody thinks he's a good guy. But the reality of it is, Jay, you brought it up, David, you brought it up, the money that's going into, how many homes this guy owns? I mean, he owns quite a bit of property and real estate, and all he has to do is flee the coop one day, and then he's off in the good life, but obviously his sins will catch up to him. David, do you believe that Russia and all this melee going on heading to the Middle East, is this related to what people believe he's Gog and Magog is Russia, and he's drawing in like a centripetal force, drawing in these other nations in and into the Middle East? Obviously, we know God's doing it, as he says, hooks jaws. But do you, as personally, obviously we don't know, and Jacob,
we don't know.
We don't know. But do you personally see this as a precursor, being it? He's Gog. I mean, there's a lot of guys on the internet who say, no, this is it. This is it. Obviously, we don't dive into speculations like that. But could this be what you see, a scenario where Gog and Magog comes in?
Well, certainly we can see all the chess pieces falling into place, not just on that scenario of Gog and Magog, but multiple other scenarios that Jesus said would happen, from buying and selling, from being able to control people to having famines. Everything that Jesus said in Matthew 24 is intensifying and coming more. And then what Ezekiel talks about and all these pieces, we know God sees the whole board, as it were, chessboard. He sees all the players, and they're not out of his control. And the devil is even a servant in his hand, just as Nebuchadnezzar was an anointed servant in his hand. So for us, we can have peace in the worst of times because we know our future and our destiny is sealed. And so, but what we're worried about, of course, is our family, our kids, our unsaved loved ones. This is the biggest concern. But all these scenarios that are going on, we don't know exactly how it's going to come out, other and in what time frame, but we know the birth pangs are getting stronger and harder and closer together.